Welcome back on the Good Morning Artesia radio show, and the mayor's here, John Henry, and we were just talking about the football game on Friday night. You were kind of relieved you didn't have to get another blue shirt. Is that what you were telling me?
That is and unfortunately for the last couple, we've got some blue shirts from some friends. I put quotes up up there, and so it's very nice to not have one this year, and they're going to get some orange. So it's good to see.
Yeah, and you were telling me the new Carlsbad football coach. You went to school with him?
Yeah, so he's a graduate of Cloudcroft High School, and so we played football together when we were in school, and he went on to, we went to college at the same place, but he went on to play there and coach there, and so Carlsbad, I think, got a good coach. Like I said, I told him I'll root for you every game except one, and it's just going to be that way every year, so he understood it ahead of time, and but I wish him some luck as well. It's nice. Moving from college to high school, I'm sure that's a transition, but looked like he'll. I mean, they had a good team, and it was a good game, and I'm glad the way it turned out for sure. But I'm glad they had a good game. So,
well, it'd be interesting to see because Carlsbad has had a lot of coaches over the years.
Yes.
I've been here long enough that I've seen 3 head coaches in Artesia in 31 years.
Right.
And I think I saw 3 head coaches in Carlsbad in the last decade.
Right.
So hopefully he'll do a good job and they'll be happy with him and it'll all work out for him.
So yeah, he's a good guy and I think he'll do well. I hope they'll just let him do it and get it in shape. So
well, and it's interesting too in New Mexico the way they have the districts aligned, and Carlsbad, Hobbs, and Clovis used to be in a district together, and now Clovis is in another.
Yeah, they're all in Albuquerque, I think. Are they still in Albuquerque?
I think they are, and Alamogordo moved up, and so it's and Hobbs is always tough, and so that's a tough district.
Tough district, yeah. Because I guess I'm assuming, I didn't look at it, I guess Carlsbad will have Hobbs, maybe Alamo now since they moved up, and somebody in Cruces, or all the Cruces. They used to be all the Cruces.
Used to be all Cruces.
Moved down, of course, so they're ours now. So
yeah,
it'll be interesting. Yeah,
it will be. But then Mayfield, I think, stays in 5A the rest of the time, and that's when Carlsbad's going to. It's confusing because football they have that 6th class,
right?
And so Roswell is in our district for football, but nothing else.
Right.
Because they're all in 5A, and we're in 4A with Lovington and Portales and Goddard.
Yeah.
Except football.
Right.
And we don't have Lovington and Portales, and we have Goddard, obviously, but we have Roswell and now Mayfield.
Right.
So, and then I was looking at Joby and Robbie were talking about in the pregame about the rankings.
Yeah, I was shocked.
And the top and going into the game, the top 4 teams in our class were our district.
Yeah. When they said that, and then they laid out the schedule. We play the number 1 in 6A. We play. I don't know what Hobbs was pretty highly ranked. I think in 6A. Carlsbad was 11 in 6A. And I'm like, my goodness. Lovington's 1 in 4A, I guess.
Right.
And
right.
So, so we're going to have a big schedule this year. So,
that's right.
But it looks like we've got the team to do it. So it'll be a fun year.
Well, we're going to load up all the gear and head over to Hobbs on Friday night. And so Jeffrey and Bradley and I, and of course Joby, Robbie, and Josh will be doing the play-by-play part of it. And and I asked Joby where that "take it to the house" thing came from. Did you hear him call that last play? Take it to the house. I thought, it's kind of like when Wilburn broke out that my friends.
Yeah.
I was it's like the 2nd or 3rd year that I was here.
Yeah.
And he'd never said it before.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, in an Artesia football game in 92 or 93, all of a sudden they score a touchdown, and he goes, "And that, my friends."
Right.
Is just another Bulldog touchdown. I'm like, where did that come from? I heard in Oklahoma somewhere. And
there you go. Got to get it somewhere. It's good to have something. So
that's right.
Yeah.
So last night, council's meeting, but there was a volleyball game going on. So was anybody kind of paying attention to the volleyball game?
I think there was a lot of attention everywhere. We had quite a few folks show up to talk to us last night, so that was really good to see. Which surprised me because with the volleyball game, and I noticed some kind of snuck out a little early. So I think some went to probably go support the volleyball girls, which is great. I mean, I'm glad they did that. And it's tough because volleyball and basketball and all those kind of fall on a Tuesday, Thursday type of deal, and obviously our meetings fall on Tuesdays, so you can try to get through a little faster to get to them, but We didn't last night, so it was a good discussion last night.
There was a town in Alabama. We were in Fairhope, Alabama, and I went to the city council meeting. Because back then I was a Cub reporter,
Okay.
And it was on Monday nights. And I
Right.
remember walking in, the mayor came in, sat down and said, all right, Monday Night Football kicks off in 30 minutes. Let's go.
Hey, sometimes you got to have priorities, I guess.
And I'm like, yes.
yeah, that's it.
So-
it's almost like when you go to church on Sundays, you start watching, and that's a bad habit.
Yeah, you're
People
not
shouldn't
supposed to do that.
Don't do
Yeah.
that. Just stay and catch the game later. So,
It's just the Cowboys,
well,
or whatever.
yeah. See, I did notice on your pregame, I was watching it, and I was surprised this year. The bulk of the kids y'all talked to at the beginning are Cowboy fans. There was only like one
I
Bronco and one Brown fan, but
I did notice
there's a
that.
lot of Cowboys, which is, I guess, fairly usual for around here. But used to, you would hear some other teams, but there was a lot of Cowboys this year. So
That particular group,
Yeah,
there were.
yeah,
So we'll
yeah.
see from week to week, because we'll have another 4 or 5
Right,
kids
yeah.
that will feature and
yeah,
do that. And if I don't hit the stupid space bar again, I won't repeat the interview with.
right.
I didn't know that I had done that.
Oh, okay.
I honestly did not know I had done that.
Yeah.
Repeated the Coach Maupin interview.
Yeah.
And so the interview's coming to an end, and I joined the live feed, and I think we're going to be joining it as they start talking.
Yeah.
No, they were already well into their.
Yeah.
What did I do?
Yeah.
That was all on me. That was my mistake.
We've talked about it before, but I don't think people realize how lucky we are in Artesia, because even Cass last night, he wasn't able to make it down for the game. He's from Carlsbad, and he says, but I understand y'all play all your games live? And I said, yeah, just go to KSVP and you can watch all. And I told him, because I think Carlsbad plays Goddard this week, right?
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, if you can't make that game, I said they do all the Goddard, all the Roswell, all the.
Yeah.
I think people don't. And not only just the game, but that pregame is a really cool feature that I hope a lot of, I don't know how big your audience is, but hopefully even if you're at the game, get on and listen to that, because you
Yeah.
learn about the kids playing, you learn a lot about what Coach Maupin has to say about the teams, and I don't know, it's just we're really lucky to have some of the features we do, and I'm not just saying it because you're here, but it really is cool that you get that.
And
So,
we've always had great cooperation. All the coaches have been bend over backwards to accommodate. They get done with practice. Okay, we got to go talk to Joby or Gene
Yeah.
or whatever. But no, they always are
Yeah.
very helpful. We've always had a great relationship from that standpoint. And so when that happened, I'm like, how did that happen? And and Jeffrey knows, I was racking my brain. How did I do that? Did I mess up on the timing here? And it wasn't until Saturday morning when I finally sat down and was reviewing everything. What did I do?
Yeah.
That I finally figured out what it was that I did
Right,
that
yeah.
messed up the pregame. Because we had the starting lineups. I had that all recorded, and Andy had created a graphic with the players' headshots to use for the lineups and
Yeah.
everything, and we didn't get to play that on the because I had repeated Coach Maupin's interview.
Gotcha.
I'm like, what? And then last night was the night of dead batteries.
Oh.
We had camera and transmitter batteries that were dying left and right,
Right. Yeah.
And I'd just gotten home. Pulled it up on the TV to watch the third set.
Yeah.
And I'd just taken my shoes off, and Jeffrey called and says, our camera died. We're going to need batteries.
Yeah.
And I didn't bring the extra batteries, so.
Right.
All right.
Yeah, it's always something, isn't it?
Came back down, got the batteries, got over there.
Yeah.
And I told Lana, I said, I'm going to get there, and we're going to win the third set, and it'll be done.
Yeah. And we did.
We did.
Yeah. Which is great. Good for the girls. So,
That's absolutely
yeah.
so. But yeah, so we've been kind of dealing with some of that kind of stuff: monitors
Right.
dying, computers dying, batteries that need to be replaced, and stuff. So last night I ordered batteries, and they'll be here Monday, and then
Right.
we should be good to go for
It's kind
all
of that first of the year.
Yeah.
Get things refigured out. So.
Well, like at the Bulldog Bowl, none of the TVs were working in the suites on Friday night,
Oh,
so they're
okay.
working on getting that resolved because. In amongst me sitting there trying to figure out what on earth I did with the Coach Maupin interview, why my timing was off, I had people running in there. TVs aren't working.
Yeah.
I'm hooked up.
Yeah.
So it's in that room there, and so I'm sure they'll have that all squared away before the the
It'd
next
be a
game.
cool feature, and I'm sure it's not allowed, or y'all have thought about it, but the big, huge screen we have on the field now, you see it at Oklahoma and Tech, all the college games you go to, where they kind of play those interviews on that for the audience. That might be kind of cool. So
Yeah.
if you, in pregame, if you don't have headphones,
Yeah.
you could actually watch some of those interviews. That might be a.
I'll
I
check
don't know if
with.
that's even feasible, but that would be a really cool.
I think the only thing that my understanding is that the NMAA frowns on is live.
Yeah,
action.
like a playback type of deal and all that.
But I don't know
so.
about the playback. They may be able to do plays, but
Really?
that requires like a whole separate
Yeah.
setup to get the plays to get down to them for replay. And that's something too that I want to add in on ours is add some instant replay. And I didn't do that Friday night just because it was our first game and we new crew
Sure.
and we were just trying to get everything. I didn't want to pile that on top of everything
no,
else.
absolutely.
Because I was still trying to figure out what
Yeah.
I'd done in the pregame. That bugged me until Saturday morning when I
Right.
finally I pulled up the log here and I put the broadcast on. That's what I did
Yeah.
because I couldn't figure it out. It was bugging me all night.
Yeah.
So, but we'll hopefully Hobbs will go a little smoother. We'll have all our batteries figured out. We'll have
There you
all
go.
our.
all your stuff ready to go. So it'll be something else. Not to jinx you, but it's always
No,
something. it
There will
feels like.
always
So,
be something.
yeah,
Something
no
will
matter what
break.
you do.
No
So,
matter what. That's right. It's
Yeah.
just you got to be ready for it. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kind of like they do in the city. So, well,
Yeah.
let's go ahead and get started. Where do you want to begin with?
Well, we talked about a lot of stuff over the last couple weeks and days, and of course at the meeting last night. One thing I really, especially since it's a cloudy day again, a lot of folks heard about the flooding and all the stuff, and I spent a lot of. Unfortunately, I called Byron a lot this weekend, which probably I hope I didn't bother him too much, but just curious. Hey, how are we handling it? How does this work? How does that? So I understood it, and so the folks understand it. We heard the Pecos is going to overflood, and we're going to do this and that, and it's fascinating how all of that has to happen for Artesia to drain properly. So, when we do have major water in the draw, which we never really had any major water, but if the Pecos was to go over the banks and we have a major draw flow, that's when we start causing a lot of problems. So when people are worried about, oh my goodness, if the Pecos comes over, that's got to take a long time before it really affects us tremendously. But where it does apparently affect us is when it starts backing up and then starts backing up the draw. That's when we can. So that was interesting to learn and understand, because every time I'd see a new report, all the Pecos, oh my goodness, what does that mean for us? What is that? What do we got to do? And of course Byron, as y'all heard when he was here last time, he totally knows what he's doing. So which is very nice for the city. The city should be happy. But every time he said, no, our drains are working, which I think he even asked that question, worked perfectly. Everything went well. They had cleaned them out in preparation for the storm. They've already re-cleaned out some of the debris that came down. And so even if it rained hard again today, I think that group has done a good job of prepping everything and getting it ready, which has put them a little behind on some other stuff. So when you do see the draw and those kind of things, they haven't got to it yet. They're working on it. And obviously it's pretty wet right now. So I'm not sure you would have run a tractor out there to mow it, but they did a really good job with all the waters coming down. We were lucky we didn't have obviously near the amount of waters that obviously some of Carlsbad and Roswell had. But even in the county, we did a really good job. We didn't have near the problems we've had in the past, and so seems like everyone has done really worked really well this time.
Well, I kept remembering what Byron said when he was on the radio the last time. It's we're going to get it collected and then get rid of it as quickly as we can.
Right.
And so you're going to see water standing on Central.
Yeah.
Or some of these other major thoroughfares, but it's like Byron said, it's going to collect, and then we're going to get rid of it as quickly as we can.
Yeah.
But we didn't have the multiple continuing days of rain.
Yeah.
Because the flood warning, or the flood advisory, I guess, for out there by Wilbanks,
Right. Yeah.
is through Friday.
Yes.
Well, all this rain happened this past weekend, and so that's how long it's taking for all of it to run through the draws and the arroyos and then make its way to the Pecos River, and now it's making its way down.
Yeah.
So hopefully, as long as we don't get any more rain between now and then, we shouldn't aggravate the situation.
Right. Well, and then if you think about it, a lot of the water that comes through the draw and collects in that direction in the west, it comes from the mountains. Well, and the mountains, if you see Redosa and talking to my parents in Cloudcroft, I mean, they've been
A lot of rain this year.
When you get onto our place up there, we've got a bridge you got to cross. And Dad said, yeah, it came all the way to the top. It didn't breach our bridge, thank goodness, because every time it does that, I got to go up there and fix it. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
But it handled it. But yeah, there was a lot of water coming from the mountains as well. So which all comes this direction in different ways.
Sure.
So we've done pretty well to this point, and everything they've put in place worked really well, which is what you want to see. I mean, you learn every time.
The dam west of town, have we had enough water that it's actually running over that yet, or is it still being held back behind it, or you haven't heard it?
I haven't heard that. That's something Byron was actually talking about last night is, if it starts, if the mountains were to get more, or if it starts filling too much, you might see the draw shut down again. And then people say, well, why are y'all doing that? It's not even raining. Well, it's not. But again, that's water coming from the mountains this direction. So we get that so we can relieve that dam some. So there is still a lot of moving parts out there that he keeps an eye on to make sure that we keep everything safe. But
well, I'm glad those gates and fences are there. Hopefully people don't try to go around them, because there was that, was it up at Hagerman, I think? Somebody tried to drive across one of the areas with running water, and the car started getting washed down river. And
I mean, you see that so often, and we all say turn around, don't drown, and sometimes we say it jokingly, but it's so true. I mean, you just have no idea. Oh, well, it's not that deep. Well, we have no idea if maybe that road got washed that you've been driving on your whole life, and you think, oh, it's not that deep. Man, if it got washed out, or there's a hole, or it doesn't take much to move your car, and you see it. We saw it in Dallas. I guess Dallas had the same problem this last week with too much. Kentucky. I mean, we've seen a lot of water in a lot of spots this year, which is good. We all want water, just at the right pace.
Not at once.
Yeah, we don't need to catch the whole year on 2 days. So
well, that's good. So that's a report the council got, was that Artesia drainage seemed to be running pretty good.
Yeah, seemed to be running really well, and was glad to see that. So I'm glad to hear that as well. So
I put cameras in at a couple of at one of the transmitter sites, and sometimes I wish I hadn't, because then I see things that I normally wouldn't see, that wouldn't normally be a problem because I didn't see them, but now I see them, and so now they're a problem. And our Roswell transmitter site, we're up on a hill west of Roswell, and they had water running across 70 at one point in all that. But we're up on a hill, and even in the camera video, there was standing water on the top of the hill.
Oh, wow.
And like I said, I hadn't really noticed that before, but I didn't have a camera out there before. Now I've got a camera out there and go, whoa.
Yeah.
And then I looked in the inside camera, and I saw water on the cement was wet. I don't know how much was in there, but I thought, ooh, well, that's not good.
Right.
It's probably happened before. I probably never saw it, but now I see it. So now I've got to get some spray sealer up there and seal a couple things. But
I would think that humidity would be bad for your equipment.
We have refrigerated air units running, so that sucks moisture out. And then the transmitter itself is the output of the air coming out the backside of the amplifiers is about 102 degrees.
Okay.
So it warms it up nicely and gets all that moisture out of there. So, but yes, I do need to go up there with the spray gap foam, and I've got a place that I've got to run some spray foam in there to keep that from happening in the future. But if I hadn't put the camera in, I wouldn't have seen it, so I wouldn't have known it. So I would have wouldn't have been a problem, right?
It's worked to this point, so you must be okay.
All right. We're going to take a quick break and talk more with the mayor about the city council meeting last night, Mayor John Henry, and that's next on Good Morning Artesia.
Now for